As much as I did not want to do this, I'm having to record this on my phone, and I know it's like weird and sketchy, but you know what? We're gonna get into it. I'm looking at the computer right now, so it's probably not best you actually look at this phone screen that I'm using to record this. Just like upload, like look at the computer while I'm going along the slides. But I'm gonna start on the first slide right now. Washington versus Adams versus Jefferson final draft. I don't know why I didn't do that before the president. Land Ordinance of 1785. The Land Ordinance of 1785 was adopted by the Constitutional Congress in the United States on May the 20th under the Articles of Federation. Basically, so the Congress could raise money before taxes weren't been because taxes weren't being fulfilled. So, after the Revolutionary War, they needed some they needed some money, and they had to do what they had to do, man. All right, next slide. Northwest Ordinance of 1787. The Northwest Ordinance, finally an ordinance, also known as the Freedom Ordinance, was created to separation of land between arguments from the British and Indian attacks over the territory. So basically, they just kind of split the land up because the Indians were going crazy over territory, and the British were going crazy over territory. Everybody's fighting, so they just found a way to split up the land, which makes sense. And mostly, I'm splitting up all of this. Like it's basically, I put it in my own words, but like, I only put like the main objective of it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, federalism is a simple system of a central government with neighboring governments such as states, but central government mostly has a superior rule over the states. There's only one central government, which makes sense. All right, next slide. Connecticut Compromise. The Connecticut Compromise of 1787 was a agreement made between residents, representatives. I don't know why I said that the U.S. government, two legislative houses in Congress, and each state has two senates, and each state has a number of representatives based on the population. Smaller states through this was unfair. Thought this was unfair. I said through this. All right. Basically, small states thought that it was not fair that other states had more senates and representatives. I mean, more representatives, which I mean was just a federalist thing, federalism thing. Am I pronouncing it wrong or what? The third fifth compromise was agreement made between the southern and northern states of how slaves would be counted. Slaves were counted as 3/5 of people. I have no idea how that happened, but it happened. I guess they were half a person, so I guess you couldn't be a human without another one. All right. The Shays' Rebellion was an armed uprising in Massachusetts during 1786 and 1787. While Shays' Rebellion was defeated, this changed history when they attacked the U.S. national weapons, later having numerous national leaders come together to prevent this next time, which was actually a good idea because what if they got overthrown by like the next big organization? I mean, mm, I don't even know. It's crazy, man. They just attacking the main national like that. All right, George Washington. You know, that's the boy. April 30th, 1789 to March the 4th, 1797. All right. So what did he do? All right. The jur. I don't. I'm hard at pronouncing half of these words. Judiciary Judiciary Act of Judiciary Act of 1789. The United States Judiciary of 1789, which was basically an act to establish the judicial courts of the United States. I don't know. I'm sucking right now. All right. Alexander Hamilton's economic plan. The plan was proposed by the founding fathers to bring a new form of mercantilism to help the government raise money, which is not a bad idea because you probably want to help raise money. So George Washington is all about. I'm gonna explain it all again. The Whiskey Rebellion was a rebellion of the people because tax was put on whiskey to help pay for the Revolutionary War. It became law in 1791. It was the first tax put on a product in the new federal government, which is weird because when people go crazy over whiskey being taxed, that's when I could think of people thinking like the world is going to end. Like what are we doing with our lives? But I don't know. Apparently, people want to like literally attack people because whiskey talk costs more. I don't know. That's kind of weird to me. Jay's Treaty was a treaty of trade and alliance between the French Revolutionary War, which could have very well helped them. Very well helped them avert the war. Basically, saying I don't want to get in any of this. I just want to build my country back up because we just got in the war. I just want to put the tax on the people, man. Get the money up. That's pretty much what George Washington was about, in my opinion. Washington D.C. became national capital. Is pretty much it was on July 16, 1790, which helped keep things more organized and know where meetings could be cast and such, which is great. I don't know why I'm thinking about the Illuminati conspiracies. Okay, Proclamation of Neutrality 1796 was announced by President George Washington in May 1793, which keep the state neutral and pick a side between French and British, which kept the nation from being in any kind of war because French and British were going crazy about to go into a war again. And, George Washington, type of guy that's like, hey, I'm not going to get into this because it's none of my business, which is actually great. You always want a president. I mean, you want a president that help, but you like when they just got destroyed, not really destroyed, but they just took a hit from war. It's not something they want to get into. George Washington. Oh, I just got a message on my phone. This is so humiliating. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, George Washington farewell address, which was published in the newspapers near the end. I got another one. All right, which his writing warning Americans of creating factions, which is political parties, which I feel like he was right in that opinion because some people just draw to this party, some people just draw to that party, they never switch, they never ever give any other party any other. Like, some people just don't. Alright, John Adams, March 4th, 1797 to March 4th, 1808. I'm glad he ended quick because it should have ended quick. Alright, let's go. The election, I mean, there's not really much to say about it. I mean, I pretty much, like, have all the information about it, but, like, I couldn't really sum it down because it was just so much information. Pretty much, George Washington has refused his third term in office, which kind of like made like a it was kind of made where automatically everybody only had 2 terms now. And Vice President John Adams from Massachusetts became a candidate to the presidency on a federal party ticket with the former Governor Thomas Pickerson of South Carolina. Ooh, South Carolina. Never mind. I'll take it back because he was a bad president. As the next most popular Federalist, their opponents were former Secretary of State Thomas Jefferson, Virginia, along with Senate Aaron Burr, New York, Democrat president. At this point, every man from the party ran alone as a former position of running mate had not yet been established. So pretty much everybody was like, we know Federalists, we're just going to go with Federalists, That's all we know, we're going to go with him. So Democratic Republicans was like, yeah, these guys suck. Just get out my face. Who knows you? All right, the Cusic War was a war undeclared and fought almost entirely at sea. The United States refused to pay debts back to France during the war, leading to retaliation. And the war ended with the Convection 1800, which was like a agreement signed, which I don't even know, bro. They didn't want to pay debts. I'm pretty sure John Adams called this. All right, the Alien and Sedation Acts of 1798, which were 4 bills proposed by Federalists and signed by John Adams. Most of these made the government stronger, such as they made it harder for immigrants to become citizens. Naturalization Act allowed the president to imprison and deport non-citizens who were deemed dangerous or who were from hostile or criminalized, making false statements that were crucial. Now I don't know if they really needed this because this is like nobody was really even traveling like that back then. Like, let's think about how many people even travel to foreign land in any condition. So I feel like this was just like a meme's way of just like saying, if we don't like it, we're gonna call you a criminal and just kick you out. Like, I don't know. So people didn't really like that, and let's get into why. The Kentucky and Virginia revolutions were a statement by the governments of Kentucky and Virginia that the federal Alien and Sedation Acts were unconstitutional. The Congress argued that the Congress had the power to make unconstitutional laws regardless of the Constitution. Well, at this point, it became power hungry, and I'm pretty sure they asked John Adams for what his pick on what it was, and this is what he says. So at this point, people were like, I don't know about this Federalist thing. It's kind of crazy. So Thomas Jefferson marched for 1801 to 1809, and then you wonder why he's freaking. All right, so the election was the fourth election. The vice president trumped over. President Thomas Jefferson trumped. Trump. You get the joke. All right, let me just stop. Over John Adams, which sparked the falling of the Federalist Party because of taxes from Congress and controversial opinion on the Alien and Sedation Acts, which basically means that people were like, let's just try something new, because this guy right here, he getting crazy with it. Like, he trying to take over. Like, so they're like, let's just look, we gonna put our hope in Thomas Jefferson. He Democrat. Let's just see what he see for the people. So, the Marable v. Madison Supreme Court case, which was case in the court formed to devise exorcism of jurisdictional review. I keep mispronouncing it. Landmark helped define the boundary between the constitutional separation and executional, executive, and judicial. I keep pronouncing it wrong. Branches of American form of America. So this is like another foundation which help everybody understand where you would want to go for a national level problem. That makes much sense. I actually do know a lot of this. It's just that I can't pronounce that word, which keeps messing me up. The Lewis and Clark expedition, also known as the Corps of Discovery expedition, was the first American expedition to cross what is now the western portion of the Earth. It became St. Louis, made its way westward, and passed through the continental divide to reach the Pacific coast. That's pretty dope. You've actually found the things, man. The first Barbaro War, also known as the Triopian War and the Barbarians. So, long story short, pirates starting to take over some ships, and they were like, "No, you're not gonna do that." And then they attacked, and then the war started, and then they refused to pay tribute. In addition, Sweden haven't been at war with the tribes since 1800s. That's crazy. But yeah, just a war for some stupid stuff. If you ask me, I mean, why are they hijacking ships? Like, what in the world? All right. When George Washington was president, this is how the elections, President Washington, Adams, and Jefferson, like, how did they develop the U.S. The main question. So I feel like George Washington's main goal is to set up an organized government, such as setting up the judicial system, which while avoiding war, looking for ways to collect taxes to help build the country again. When John Adams won the election, I feel like he was focused more towards the central government, and he refused to pay taxes with friends, resulting in war. So he's more of a like he was like only for his country, no type of thing. Like he don't want any. He want to be like the boss. Later, making John Adams sign off on a legislation act which had a lot of different opinions, resulting in Kentucky and Virginia taking it to court. John Adams' bad sportsmanship to his people really led to many more political parties having a chance, such as Thomas Jefferson in the next election. Thomas Jefferson won the next election. To keep it short, he helped establish a general judicial. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. All right, system and approve of the Lewis and Clark expedition. Also, while setting the foundation for many things, such as why does this thing in here so many times? Supreme Court case, you know what I mean. But pretty much, George Washington set everything out right for everybody else, while everybody else created laws on the way and help expand America. You know, John Adams, I mean, he's kind of messed up. I mean, he didn't really do much in my opinion. So, I mean, he helped he helped give people different ideas on whatever political parties could be acceptable. Because if without John Adams being a bad president, bad federalist president, nobody would ever thought about Republicans. You know what I'm saying? All right, so my citations are pretty much Wikipedia, but I did some of that. I break it down into my own definition. The difference from the federal versus state power. Well, the federal power is mostly it's basically they can create that they're superior of the state, but their laws are more like declaring war or establish the army and navy, onto treaties. In the states, they have their own laws, but it's more local problems. It's not something that's like gonna affect the whole country. So if the state needs to make a law over, um, so the state needs to make so the state wants to oppose like the national still argues that this law is needed, then the states can't really do anything about it. Same thing for the states. If there's laws that affect the whole country in a bad way, the states can oppose it. So yeah, I mean, the state, national, federal government controls like the big problems that could just if they don't handle it, could affect the whole country. You know what I'm saying? And the states, they have their own laws too, which could be just like the national laws, but they only affect they're in this country. They're affecting this state. You know what I'm saying? All right, so that's it. Hope you enjoyed. I know I stumbled a lot over that same word, but I feel like I really understood this whole project down to the centimeter. Peter, I don't know. I should never say that again in my life. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this. I have a YouTube channel, so I actually get my intros like that. What the heck is wrong with me? All right, and that's my presentation. Peace.